Music Access. When you ask famous designers or top models how to dress well, they always say we should dress according to TPO. What's TPO? It's an expression that's used in the fashion and marketing world, and it stands for time, place, and occasion. In other words, these fashion experts are telling us to dress according to the situation that we're in. I don't think this is limited to fashion though. We should also think about TPO when having a conversation with others or even when having a meal. We need to know when to be quiet and how to control our voice according to the place and situation, and there are certain occasions we should be more careful and have good etiquette and manners when eating, right? For example, even though I'm a fun and goofy sort of guy, I can't go around shouting, "Turn it up!" or "Music Access!" anywhere and everywhere, right? People would think I'm crazy. And you might be wondering why I'm saying this. Well, I've been holding in this awesome energy of mine, waiting for these 2 hours when I can just let go. I found the perfect time, place, and occasion to let it all out. It's the TPO we've all been waiting for, and it starts now. The first song you heard today, Sunday, October 4th, 2015, was Raise Your Glass by Pink. Happy Sunday, Music Access fam. How is your weekend going? Is it going good? For those of you who may have just started tuning in, we were talking about TPO, which is time, place, and occasion, which is very, very important when it comes to, I think, fashion, when it comes to attitudes, and when it comes to handling situations. Personally, for me, when it comes to TPO, it's definitely more about my attitude. You know, fashion, I would say that I dress to a certain extent properly for, whatever occasion may arise. But when it comes to, the bubbling over energy levels that I have, sometimes it's hard to kind of keep that in check. And, in some situations where I need to be, or I can't afford to be a little bit more serious, sometimes I tend to, lose track a little bit and keep kind of joking around. But, of course, like we always say, it is a learning process, and I'm learning as hard as possible. So, just like me, let's all learn together. So our Sunday Corner Scribble is just that. This corner's for you to think freely and just doodle out your thoughts. It's a chance to be honest and think about what was hard, what was embarrassing, what was a proud moment, etc. from the past week. Go ahead and share with us by writing Scribble on your title. And of course, here's how you can listen and participate on Music Access. Go and tell all your friends. If you have a smartphone, you can download the Arirang Radio app or TuneIn Radio app to listen to our programs and send in your messages. And if you use a computer, just visit www.arirangradio.com/musicaccess to listen to us or leave your messages. Another way you can tune in is through terrestrial DMB, but this is only available for our listeners living on Jeju Island. The frequencies are 88.7 for Jeju City, 88.1 for Seogwipo, and 101.9 for Daejeon. And of course, y'all always continue to send great song requests, so keep them coming non-stop by posting up a message on our message board under the title Request. Now, before we dive into Scribble, we'll check out two songs, starting with Cooler Than Me by Mike Posner, followed by Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z featuring Alicia Keys. Be with you, and if you feel the same, shall we meet here? Will you tell me your story? If you're shy, you can playfully scribble, and if you don't know where to start, you can start with a doodle and scribble. Good job, that's how we'll begin our story. Our Sunday Corner Scribble Scribble is just that. This corner's for you to think freely and just doodle out your thoughts. It's a chance to be honest to yourself and think about what was hard, what was embarrassing, what was a proud moment, and in any case, talk about anything and everything you want about the past week or whenever. Go ahead and share with us by writing Scribble Scribble on your title. And now let's go to our first message, starting off our Sunday show, coming from Anushka Eka from India, saying, "Hey Benji, it was my birthday on Monday, but I think we just skipped over it because we were so busy talking about Chuseok in Korea. I'm now officially 19, and I think it'll really make my day if you say happy birthday to me on the air. I hope you'll be able to say it to me, even though it'll be a little late, and I'll just thank you for it in advance." So Anushka Eka from India, hope you're listening. It's almost been almost a week since your birthday's passed, but still, never late than never, you know. Like I was just saying, TPO, time, place, occasion. This is the occasion, time, right now, place, music access. So, happy birthday! Happy birthday! I hope you have a good one and you ate a lot of cake and ice cream. Although, I don't know if the weather is appropriate for ice cream. Yeah. But for real, happy birthday. Hope you had a really, really good one. Celebrating. I heard something about birthday celebrations and how one of the new trends is, people don't eat ice cream anymore. They're changing all their stuff to froyo, or frozen yogurt, which is... they're both delicious in my head, but, when I was in college, froyo was a huge thing. No one really ate ice cream way back then. I don't know why, but I guess trends are changing. So, hopefully, if you're going to get ice cream, you could still get some of that cold, sweet, frozen yogurt. Alright, now, as we continue to move on, we're going to listen to two songs, starting with a song that Rima of Indonesia requested, "I Don't Like It, I Love It," by Flowrider featuring Robin Thicke, and Rusi of Indonesia also wanted to hear "Worth It" by Fifth Harmony featuring Kid Ink. We just heard "I Don't Like It, I Love It" by Flowrider featuring Robin Thicke, followed by "Worth It" by Fifth Harmony featuring Kid Ink. What's up? You're listening to Music Access with Benji of BIG, and we're talking about the memorable events that happened to you. Don't just go over them in your head, but try writing down your feelings and jotting down your thoughts comfortably, just like you're doodling. And we're sharing your thoughts here on Sunday via Scribble Scribble. And our next message comes from Mylene from the USA, who's saying, "Hi Benji, how are you doing? Last week I had so much fun at the fair with my cousins. I couldn't go with my friends because they were busy. I'm going to the fair again with my other cousins who couldn't come the first and second night." That sounds pretty awesome. Fairs in the USA, at least fairs in my area, they had a lot of, fun rides to ride, a lot of fun booths to check out. And especially for me, of course, the most important thing was the food. It is impeccably delicious. It is immensely delicious, and it can't be beat. And it is also extremely fattening. Granted, of course, you do have, harvest produce that people sell and eat. We are talking about roast corn or boiled corn on the cob. There's, mashed potatoes. There's, poultry, chicken and all that stuff that they sell. But I think one of the best things for me is funnel cake. It's cake batter that's deep fried and covered in powdered sugar and strawberries and whipped cream. Exactly right. It is extremely highly a caloric food, but it tastes amazing. Like, I think that's one of the foods that you always remember if you had it as a kid, because I didn't get a lot of chances to eat it. For me, it was a food that, I ate, I think, once or twice. And it's not a food that a lot of people serve in restaurants because it's a very kind of, cheap, easy food to make. And yet it's super, super delicious. So, Mylene, definitely get that funnel cake or the elephant ears. They're also deep fried. There's a lot of stuff that's deep fried in the States, come to think of it, They even have deep fried Oreos, the deep fried chocolate chip cookie sandwiches and all that stuff. It's pretty crazy how, there's no end to that deep fried goods. There's deep fried butter, for goodness sake. But, Mylene, have a good time. And everyone else who's curious about those deep-fried, delectable treats, delectable? Delectable, I think that's what it is, treats, make sure to check them out online. Just, search those terms, deep-fried amazingness. And you'll be able to find a lot of interesting things, I'm sure. Now, as we continue on, we're going to check out two more songs, starting with Paparazzi by Lady Gaga, followed by the song Ariadna of Mexico, requested Wherever You Will Go by The Calling. We just heard Paparazzi by Lady Gaga, followed by Wherever You Will Go by The Calling. Continuing on with our Scribble Corner, our next message comes from Shreya Talukdar of Bangladesh saying, Benji, I want to ask you a weird question. If we ever met in the future, what are we going to do? I don't know, but one thing I want from you is you to give me a B.I.G. signed CD. Will you give me one if we meet someday? Anyway, I want to say, although you're not close and many miles away, I still love you even after today. Have a nice day, Benji. Thank you so much for that. If we met in the future, depending on the circumstances, remember the TPO, PTO, that is, I think, going to define whether or not I can give you a CD or not. Because, I don't carry around CDs with me wherever I go. And even in the company, I'm actually not 100% sure where the CDs are located. I know there's a cabinet where they have them stored up because, we put our song online on the online music charts and all that stuff, but we didn't actually sell CDs. And so, a B.I.G. signed CD, I will look for one to give you. Let me know if we ever have a chance to meet or if you're ever going to come to Korea. And I'm sure if we ever get a chance to go to Bangladesh, you will be, you will know. You might even know before I do. I kind of find out sometimes late sometimes, but no, that's a joke. But in all seriousness, if we ever meet, I'll probably give you a high five. Just make sure you do the whole music access. Let me know that you're listening in, and that'll be the key to letting me know who you are. So, of course, if I got a CD, I'll give you one. But if not, of course, I'll give you the high five, which is pretty good. My high fives are pretty awesome, I've heard. Anyways, we're going to continue on with two more songs, starting with a song that Aryo of Bangladesh requested, Her by Block B, and Kinine of Thailand wants to hear Mr. Chu by A-Pink. We just heard Her by Block B, followed by Mr. Chu by A-Pink. Side note, I like both of these songs, and another double side note, we were promoting, I think, our debut track, 안녕하세요, I think when Block B was doing her promotions. And one of my members, I'm not going to say who, but has the same kicks as Zico. That's right, they have the same shoes. That's not a big deal, but to us at the time, I was like, dude, you have the same shoes as Zico from Block B. And we're like, oh, cool, man. Yeah! Moving on, our next message for our Scribble Corner is from Azucena from the USA saying, Benji, do you remember me telling you that I bought an AC? There was something else I wanted to say, so I'm writing this to you now. AC has a heater too. It's off season, so the AC was cheap. I don't think I'll be using it that much because I want to save electricity, but having an AC makes me feel better, knowing that if it gets too hot next summer, I can turn it on. Have a great day, Benji. Stay healthy. Okay, so apparently AC has both the heater and the cooling functions. I must have been very confused about that, but now that I think about it, that makes sense because, for example, the AC in our practice room is very big, and has they call it nanbang and nengbang. Neng as in cold, nan as in, I think hot, I'm not sure. But it has the capacity to both warm up the room and cool it down. So, I don't know why I would have thought that AC only made it cold. That was kind of confusing. And, I guess that was my personal mistake, but I'm glad you have something to keep it cool. Remember, when it comes to wanting to be more warm, you can put on more layers, but when it comes to being cool, you're stuck with a certain amount of layers. So, AC, use it sparingly. Remember, don't get too cold and keep going from hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, because if you go from hot to cold, then you get the air conditioning disease, which is what they call it in Korea when your body gets too, messed up from all that stuff, and it's not good. Anyways, but congratulations on that, and next summer, use it wisely. Now we're going to check out 2 more songs, starting with the song Haruka of Japan, requested Akinda by 17, and Mika, also of Japan, requested Thank You Very Much by Bestie. And right after a short break, we'll continue on with Scribble Scribble into the second hour, introducing your messages and thoughts. We'll come back after listening to the song Unita of Indonesia wants to hear Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day. You're listening to Music Access with me, Benji of B.I.G., and our first song starting off the second hour of our show for Sunday, October 4th was According to You by Orianthi. Now, of course, here's how you can listen and participate. Did you tell your friends? Well, if your friends are tuning in now, go ahead. I'll repeat it one more time for them. You can download the Arirang Radio or TuneIn Radio application on your smartphone and send us messages through the app using the comment function. Or you can listen to us by visiting our website, www.arirangradio.com/musicaccess, and leave your messages there on our message board. Another way you can tune in is through terrestrial DMB, but this is only available for our listeners living on Jeju Island. The frequencies are 88.7 for Jeju City, 88.1 for Seogwipo, and 101.9 for Daejeong. Now, before we continue on, we're going to check out 2 songs, starting with Misery by Maroon 5, followed by Take a Bow by Rihanna. We just heard Misery by Maroon 5, followed by Take a Bow by Rihanna. You're listening to the second hour of Music Access for Sunday, and our Sunday corner Scribble Scribble, which is just like using Music Access as a big notepad. Just as you jot down your ideas, thoughts, and what's been on your mind without thinking much on a notepad, you can send them in to us here so we can all share. It'll be your messages filling up this corner, so make sure to send them in. Just remember to leave your message under the title, Scribble Scribble. And our next message comes from Sandy Lee from the USA. It's short but powerful. What are you afraid of the most in the world? Well, up until recently, I would have said, spiders and all that stuff. But, as it comes to real world life, I think that changed a lot. When I was younger, I didn't really have that much fear, except, going to the dentist. I touched caterpillars, a lot of bugs, very comfortably. I was comfortable with all that. And then, as I grew up, it kind of changed a little bit. And now I feel like one thing that I'm afraid of is, getting shots or something like that. Needles, sharp objects. I wouldn't call it quite afraid, but there's a slight kind of apprehension that I associate with those kind of things, It's, I guess, similar to when you poke a balloon with a needle, but slowly. You're not quite sure when it's going to pop. You're not quite sure how, if it's going to be big or it's just going to go like that kind of stuff. And I think that's the thing that I'm currently most afraid of. This kind of the apprehension, the tension, the kind of uncomfortable feeling of being in the edge of your seat, not knowing what's going to happen when. And, that's the thing that I'm most afraid of right now, Sandy. What are you afraid of, though? Guys, what are you afraid of? Go ahead and let me know on our message board. I'll bet that 1 in 3 of you are going to say, I'm afraid B.I.G. is not going to come back. And I'll tell you what, we will come back. No, we're going to come back soon, before the end of this year. Hopefully, I think so. So, stay tuned. And if you have fear like that, go ahead and let it go. And we're going to let it go as well as we move on to 2 more tracks, starting with the song Okusama of Japan, requested Nona Jare by Ailey, followed by the song Shreya of Bangladesh wants to hear Niga Hameon by GOT7. We just heard Nona Jare by Ailey, followed by Niga Hameon by GOT7. Side note, what do you guys think? These 2 artists came back recently. Ailey with a powerful kind of jailhouse style music video, GOT7 with their cool kind of bad boy concept, I guess, that image, and I think it fits both of them really, really well. I was really double side note, I guess. I thought it was really, really cool. I guess maybe this is from a guy's perspective. When in the GOT7 movie music video, Bam Bam, he smashes the car with a baseball bat. I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, moving on to more messages. Our next message comes from Nia Boo from the USA saying, "Hi Benji, it's been a while since I wrote in about my life, so we'll do that today. A close family member passed away recently, and rather than just being depressed, I've been reflecting about life, and I'd like to offer some advice to our MA family about going through difficult times. First of all, people grieve or react in different ways, so don't feel like you have to act a certain way. Just let yourself naturally feel what you feel and don't try to suppress it because that can be even more stressful. Secondly, remember that you still have people around you that love you and that you can become each other's strength. Another important part of the process is accepting what happened and also the fact that you can't change it. You can imagine all the what ifs, but in the end, what has happened still happened. Lastly, it's okay not to be okay. Healing comes with time, and don't feel ashamed if you're not okay. It doesn't make you any less of a person. Time will pass, and you will go stronger. I hope I will go stronger too, because rather than me being consumed by sadness, she would have liked to see me become someone greater, even though she's not here with me. Hope this helps anyone, and sorry if it's a bit long. Love always from your boo." I think this was a great message, first of all. You really hit all the important points when it comes to, I think loss and dealing with loss. And I think one of the important things for me personally that if I can, add to this is that remembering that you still have people around you that love you and you can become each other's strength. I really feel like, for me personally, there's times when, I go through something and, when my friend, when someone moves on, when someone passes, we all feel it differently, exactly like you said. And for some people, it's strong. For some people, they feel it differently. And then, of course, we all react differently as well. Some people cry, some people might become angry. But I think it's really right. You really nailed all the points. I'm reading this and I was thinking about what to, maybe add or what would what would my opinion be. But you really, phrased it so perfectly. I love the fact that you said it's okay not to be okay. I think a lot of times when people are going through a rough patch, they feel pressure to become, okay again, to feel, oh, I need to be that happy person I used to be. And that causes even more stress. And that pressure shouldn't be there. When it comes to a situation, it takes time to go through that situation, and the entire process is, in my opinion, to a certain extent, a necessary one. Rather than just kind of trying to get out of it as fast as possible, the fact that, humans grieve, that's a human emotion, that's a human part of human nature that exists for a reason, in my opinion. And, Nia, you really nailed the ball. And, it's just really mature thinking. I'm really, really impressed, and you're really, really awesome. Thank you for sending this message in. It was really great. Alright, so we're going to continue on with two more songs, starting with a song that Andrea of Australia wants to hear, 잘 나가서 그래 by Hyuna featuring Chung Yi-loon of B2B, followed by Deja Vu by Chinese Jonghyun featuring Zion T. We just heard 잘 나가서 그래 by Hyuna featuring Chung Yi-loon of B2B, followed by Deja Vu by Chinese Jonghyun featuring Zion T. And he says, okay, next. Jonghyun, do you know what's next? We have more messages for our Scribble Corner. That's right. And our next message comes from Darcy Ann from the USA saying, "Dear Benji, I've had a very enjoyable week this past week. I did well at work, getting many things done, what with helping students and doing office drudgery. The Spanish club is off to a good start, and I went to the movies Monday to see The Man from Uncle and laughed for almost 2 hours. That's a movie I want to see. I'm still reeling from my song being played on the air. I listened to some stellar music from 3 radio stations over the course of this week, and the playlist on Music Access was lovely. I had some fun chatting with friends while I listened in, as I do every night, and I can't wait to see DJ Benji on this coming Tuesday. The music that was played by DJ Russ was a blast from the past, along with some good pop songs. Today featured the music of John Denver, and clearly you can't go wrong with that. I had so much fun chatting with friends while working on the attendees list and the playlist. Time to wind down and relax." Whew! I really want to go watch a movie. I think, thank you for tuning into radio and all that good jazz. But, movies, I think, did I watch a movie recently? I did watch a movie recently, but it's so weird because I can't remember what I watched. It must have been a very, very not fun movie. But, the whole movie experience... Oh, I did watch a movie. I do remember now. I watched a movie about an older gentleman who becomes an intern at a company run by a younger lady. And you guys probably know what movie this is. It features the man whose name rhymes with Grogert Mylero. Yes. And, but it was a very... I don't know. I feel like you can learn a lot from movies as well, especially... for me, I handle life very head-on. I grab life by the horns, as they say. And I live with the kind of the attitude that, I have to throw myself at things. That's how I handle it. It's not, I step back and look at a situation. I analyze every single possibility. And, I find the situation that works best. But rather, I throw myself into situations, do my best at whatever it is, and then, whether I come out very, war-torn and scarred, or whether I found a really, really good path to success and come out a little bit unscathed. I think that's part of how I do it. But then watching this movie made me realize there's a lot more to do than just throw myself in certain situations, There's definitely, I feel like, something... Because to a certain extent, every movie has a writer. There's a whole script in there. And then there's a lot of ideas that are formulated in order for a movie to come about. And, in this case, this movie that you watched made you laugh for 2 hours, which means someone must have planned out all these, punchlines, all these jokes, so that you'd laugh. And then in the case of the movie that I watched, it's one thing that I think that they wanted the people watching the movie to ponder or think about themselves for a little bit. So, for sure... Movies are awesome. If you haven't watched a movie lately, go and check a movie out. And for those of you who did, maybe think about, what you did, what the movie was about, how fun it was, all that stuff, and see if you had a good time. Alright, so we're going to continue on with 2 more songs, starting with the song that Mod of Thailand wants to hear, Niga Boruge by Loco, followed by the song Mylene of the USA wants to hear, My Boy 3 by the Electro Boys featuring Nana. We just heard Niga Moruge by Loco, followed by My Boy 3 by the Electro Boys featuring Nana. And our next message for Scribble Scribble comes from Unita Swinyo from Indonesia saying, Yo Benji. So, being an adult surely makes us able to do many things that we couldn't do when we were kids. When I was a kid, sometimes I think that I wanted to grow up faster and become an adult, and in the past, I always thought that I'll grow up, go to college after graduating from high school, get married, and maybe like a fairy tale, have a happily ever after. But as time went by, I felt differently. Life is hard and tough, and not all things happen like what we want. We should fight for it, or, sometimes that was the best that was meant to be in our life and accept the outcome. Because in life, it's not about growing up and becoming old, but it's about growing up and becoming mature. Definitely. What's with everyone today? You're all saying such awesome stuff, you make me so proud as a DJ to be a member of the MA family. But, for real, as life goes by, we all learn many things, especially, no matter how much someone tells you about something, until you actually experience things for yourself, you'll always have a certain sense of curiosity. So definitely, I think a lot about life is experience, and as you experience, you learn more about how you handle with certain situations, and you learn. And I think that's the beauty of life, experiencing new things, and at the same time, learning from those experiences, so when you experience them again, you find better ways to handle them. So, good job, Unita. Fist bump. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to check out 2 more songs before we continue on, starting with the song Babble by Mumford & Sons, followed by If I Die Young by the band Perry. We just heard Babble by Mumford & Sons, followed by If I Die Young by the band Perry. Shout out to all the maturing Music Access family members. I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud of us. It does bring us to the end of our show for today. Our last song is Break Even by The Script. This was Benji of B.I.G. And as always, I'll be back.